Hello. Yes, we welcome you back to PSSB, Physical Sciences, Silver Bullet with me, Richard here. Okay, the question comes. It says that what is meant by hydrolysis of salt? Okay, you have to know that technically hydrolysis is a reaction of water and another compound. So for hydrolysis of salt, it's the reaction between salt and water. Yeah. Then comes this question. It says, consider the compounds below. A, ammonium chloride. B, sodium oxalate. C, sodium chloride. D, potassium sulfide. And E, sodium ethanoate. And the question says, write the chemical formula of each of the compound. Okay? Let's start with A. What's the chemical formula of A? It's ammonium chloride. Let's look at B. What's the chemical formula of B? Sodium oxalate. This one, I prefer to have the structure in mind. This is how sodium oxalate is. And in examination, it will be presented as COON. Because it's repeating twice, we put a bracket and a 2. Though when it comes to reaction, this becomes very complicated if you don't use the structure formula. Let us go to C. Sodium chloride. It's sodium chloride. Let's go to D. D is potassium sulfide. You have to know that potassium is group 1, sulfide, or sulfur is group 6, which is valence 2. So exchange of the valences brings this compound to this formula. So then we come to E, which is sodium ethanoate, which is CH3COON. This one becomes very confusing because you are mentioning sodium first and it's the last one in the formula. You have to get used to that. You don't have a choice. So these are the chemical formulas of these compounds or these salts. Yeah, then comes this question. It says that identify the acid and base used to form each of the compound or salt above. So these are the compounds we're having, and they are salts. So the task is to identify the acid and base used to produce each. Let's look at A, which is ammonium chloride. So what do we do here? We split this one up to give you ammonium ion and chloride ion. Then you find where these ones are coming from. You'll find out that ammonium ion came from ammonium hydroxide, or simply ammonia. Okay? Meanwhile, chloride ions came from hydrochloric acid. Then we come to B. B is sodium oxalate, which is this compound. Okay. What do? We break this one up into its constituent ions. So we have the oxalate ion here, which is that. And you have the sodium ion there. And then where does the oxalate ion come from? It comes from oxalic acid, which is COOH, COOH, which in exam they are going to write as COOH bracket 2. Then sodium ion, where does it come from? It comes from sodium hydroxide. Yeah. Then comes this question. It says that identify the acid and the base used to form each of the compound or salt above, and state whether the acid or base is strong or weak. Okay, let us look at the first one, which is A. The salt is ammonium chloride. That's the formula. So what do we do here? We split it up into its constituent ions, which is NH4 plus and the Cl minus. Okay, after here, what do? You trace where the ammonium ion comes from. It comes from ammonium hydroxide, or simply ammonia. Okay, then we go to our chloride. Where does it come from? It comes from hydrochloric acid. Now the question is, ammonia or ammonium hydroxide, this base, is it strong or weak? It's a weak base. Okay. Meanwhile, hydrochloric acid, is it strong or weak acid? It's a strong acid. Yeah, then we got to B. What is B? Sodium oxalate. This is the structure formula. This compound, I prefer to use the structure formula. It gives more meaning. Okay, in examination, they're going to write it as this. But when it comes to reaction, you can do little with such a compound written like that. Okay, let's come back to the question. We are establishing its constituent ions. So you break it up into oxalate ion, which is that, and sodium ions, which is that. Okay. Now you have to know that oxalate ions come from oxalic acid, which is that. Okay. And sodium ions come from sodium hydroxide. Now the question is, this acid, is it weak or strong? It is weak acid. And this base, is it weak or strong? It's strong base. So this is a weak acid. Yeah, then we come to C. What is C? C is sodium chloride. Okay. And like we said, what do? We break this one into its constituent ions, which are sodium ions and chloride ions. Now, when you trace sodium ions are coming from sodium hydroxide and chloride ions are coming from hydrochloric acid. Okay. So from here, what do we do? You have to know you have to know whether sodium hydroxide is weak or strong. It's a strong base. And hydrochloric acid, is it weak or strong? It's a strong acid. Then we come to potassium sulfide, which is K2S. And how do we handle that? The same way, you break this one up into its constituent ions. We have potassium ions and sulfide ions. Okay? Then where does potassium ions come from? They come from potassium hydroxide. And sulfide ion, they come from hydrogen sulfide. Now, the question is this strong or weak base? It's a strong base. And hydrogen sulfide, is it strong or weak acid? It's a weak acid. Yeah, then lastly comes sodium ethanoate, which is E, and the E is CH3COON. And what do we do? You break this one up into its constituent ions. We have our ethanoate ion, which is H3COO minus, and sodium ions, which is Na plus. Okay, next you trace where these ions are coming from. This one comes from ethanoic acid, which is H3COOH. And this one comes from sodium hydroxide, which is NaOH. Okay. Then the question comes, is this acid weak or strong? It's a weak acid. Okay. Then this base, is it weak or strong? It's a strong base. And with that, I would like to thank you for your time. Yeah, we urge you to subscribe, to comment, to like, to share. And we need also to remind you that PSSB, Physical Sciences Silver Bullet, is a YouTube science channel handling physical sciences grade 12, 11, and 10, and the natural sciences grade 8 and 9. We urge you that if you are using this channel, please go to playlist, don't go to video. Go to playlist and select the material which belongs to your level. For grade 8 and 9, just look for natural sciences grade 8 or natural sciences grade 9. For grade 11 and 10, just look for physical sciences grade 11 or physical sciences grade 10. For grade 12, every chapter is presented independently. So just look for the chapter of your choice and click to get all the material which belongs to that chapter. From there, I would like to say thank you. See you then. Bye-bye.